This hangout is now live.
Hello, everyone.
What's the date? It's 2nd of July. Wow. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even I didn't follow that it's already July.
Yeah, I know. Crazy.
Mentally, I'm still in June. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's Matt and myself. We want to play program on things that I'm stuck at regarding Cypress testing. And Matt, I think you also had a pull request to review. Is that correct?
Yeah, I do.
Shall we do the pull request first because I think it's less frustration?
Yeah. I think if anything, it'll just be maybe some refactoring or, and I think there's some pretty cool things that I figured out about not using Neo4j GraphQL JS like in the mutations and like having one Cypher query for creating the post, adding its author and adding its categories.
Yeah. Can you tell me the pull request?
It's there, post with categories in the middle of your screen.
Nice. Wow, that would be super awesome. Is it like, does it have a UI already?
Does it have what?
A
Sorry.
UI?
Yes, it's got it works with creating posts and updating posts
Hang on
as well.
for a second. Could I also have like a glass with tap water? Just normal tap, like normal tap water, or Granny? Just normal, a glass of water, just plain water. Thank you. All right.
Yeah.
I just got my coffee and I usually like to have some normal tap water with it. I'm always struggling to explain tap water.
Yeah.
Not many people understand what I want to say.
No, here in Brazil they don't give you tap water. You have to like buy water. There's new laws that are coming into effect that say that if you sell food, you need to provide water. You know, but it's the common thing here.
Yeah. Okay, so now after I'm settled, let's see what Matt has done. So you're just saying, okay, allow post creation of categories.
I need to update that because it allows more than post creation. You can update posts as well.
True, because I was thinking like, that doesn't have anything to do with categories here. So that allows to update posts, which is also nice. Category allow update post. Still nothing about the categories here.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we have the new. There you just use the driver, and I think this is fine. I would be a little bit worried about the params because it might be that it has invalid data. And so I didn't figure it out how to validate a JavaScript object without using Neodi. Like I added something like a validation middleware.
Yeah.
For all those cases where you have to validate without relying on third-party libraries. So you can use that.
Like in that case, like I think previously it was like post ID, but instead I just put params. I could use params ID and not destructure the.
On the other hand, if you're just using the ID, I think you should be fine because you're using the ID here just to match it. Then you just delete previous relations, update match, set post, but this is the tricky part.
This is dangerous.
This might be dangerous if the params object is not validated. On the other hand, did we have any validations before that?
No, I mean you're just using GraphQL. Yeah.
So then I think it's fine. It's fine to merge it with post on one category as category ID. So you're sending in category IDs. Where do they come from? They are also.
They come from.
And
actually, this is something that
do you delete the categories IDs from the parents object because they will end up in the post node? No.
Yeah, they're deleted on line 8.
Ah, yes, nice. Okay, I haven't said anything. So you go through each category and then you match the category and try to find a category that matches. If you find someone, then you add this relationship. So it looks fine. Update post site. So you're really doing string and concatenation. Well, this is not so nice, right? But I'm okay with it for now.
Yeah, because
I probably would have written it a little bit different. I wouldn't use the plus symbol. I would use one string and interpolate certain parts into it, similar as this Neo4j GraphQL library does it internally. So they have a big string and then they use string interpolation, like backticks and then with a dollar symbol.
Yep.
So we get a better overview.
There's a way of doing it with Cypher. Like we were trying to, Volley and I were trying to like learn how to use there's this APOC do when, and then you can pass in like a condition, and then you can pass in like an else, and then like any params. And so then you could just have one Cypher query and that you don't need any string interpolation, and you just pass in conditions for it to do one or another, you know.
That would be super awesome. Could you research this a little bit? Because Wolf was complaining about not having the ability of doing that.
Yeah.
So if you find something that you can use with APOC and this plugin is already installed,
yeah, exactly.
That would be a dream.
Yep. I'll see if I can find any an example, because they give you some examples, but it was kind of difficult to. We didn't get it working with the and then you shortly after that joined the call and said just do it in two Cypher queries.
Yeah. But what you can do here is I started to write a finally block and just close the session in it, right?
Okay.
So after you, before you do this, wrap it in a try block.
Yep.
Then catch the error, throw the error. So just do the default, and then in finally block, always close the session.
Okay. Yep. I saw you did that on your pull request, right?
Although I couldn't really see the difference. I'm more or less assuming it's behaving in how I expect it to be. Like I don't even know what happens if you don't do it. Like, are there pending sessions or something which never get closed? Is it really a memory leak? I don't know. So I cannot really tell that is this a memory leak. I just assume it is.
Just good practice.
Usually whatever you do, you should be absolutely sure in what you do. And this is an example where I am not really 100% sure what I'm doing here. Like this works as expected, but is it really necessary, you know? Like what would happen if we have an error somewhere here and we don't reach session.close anymore? What will happen? Like, does it create a memory leak? It doesn't. It's something I'm not sure of.
Yep.
I don't know what happens with session if you don't close it. Maybe we should do some research on that.
Yeah.
Here's this Neo4j GraphQL, which is now removed, which I like. And
I mean, one of the things I really like, I haven't dealt with as many issues with Neo4j GraphQL.js like you guys have. But one thing I really liked about this was allowing us to do one session run instead of multiple, because what it was previously was that we created it we created it separately, and then we had a separate session.run to add the authorship, and then I would be adding a third one, which is how I originally did it. If you look at the commit history, just to get it to work, you know. But then it's like we potentially have 3 of them instead of 1, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So here you create the UUID yourself. This can be a little bit simplified with your new framework, because you can have default functions, and you say, for example, okay, ID is required, but it has a default. So if you don't pass it in, it will always create a UUID for you, which is quite decent. Okay, basically the same thing, right?
Yeah.
We could like think about if we can try this a little bit, maybe.
Have a function or something that returns the string.
Yeah, here you create post with merge. Here,
Like I think the thing they have in common is maybe the category IDs. Like if category IDs is I think the same, maybe the same
but on the
string.
other hand, it is fine. It's fine if you've written a test for it. I think it's fine to have this
Yeah.
slight dependency here. Doing here.
It's just the authorship, you know.
The authorship is now.
Now there. Yeah.
Yeah. This is something I really like now, which we can get rid of. I think for the mutations, the framework wasn't really giving us a lot of advantages. I think the biggest advantage is the nested queries with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On the other hand, what you did now is, let's say you create a post and you request. You create a post and you request the author of the post.
Yep.
You will not have it anymore. Exactly. Because it's not there anymore.
Well, I think the I think the mutation didn't ever return the author. You had to, if you do a query, it returns the author, but the mutation never did. I actually set it up on the comments, for example, to return the like nested attributes, and I did that on categories as well. On the first commit that I made on this, where it returned the categories, but it was just kind of like a level of complexity and like that. I was kind of asking myself, like, actually, where are we actually using those categories from the mutation? Like, we use it because we actually don't use it is the answer. And so I just removed the complexity and simplified it, and because we're querying for the results, you know.
Yeah. So what will happen is, if you query for comments is expected to be iterable. So you're expecting many items.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have any post dot comments resolver, then this will return null. Null is not an iterable, and then we will get 500 server error.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a issue getting some of the tests passing because of this. Yeah, this is something else that when you were talking on the meeting, I was really thinking about, because we have to add all this just so that we can allow the user to pass in category IDs, you know. Whereas it would be nice if we didn't have to pass in everything, like, you know, basically copied and pasted from the auto-generated auto-generated result.
But this was what you did now.
Yes,
You just
but then
pasted in something that shouldn't.
But I think it'd be nice if you could just add, like, I want to patch in the category IDs, for example, like leave the auto-generated the way it is, but just patch in this extra attribute. But if you do that, then it like takes it literally that you just want that one attribute to be passed in.
So I think, unfortunately, I would like request changes here because of the server errors. They haven't been before. They haven't been there before, I'm sure. So we can actually try this out. What's that? Ah, it's a test. Okay.
Typo.
Interesting.
Yeah, I actually, that's something that's in all these pull requests as well, because I had removed it while I was playing around doing some testing, and I didn't think we needed it because we were using Router.back, and so we're not trying to stay on the page. So I didn't think we needed like a event.prevent default. But then it turns out that if you remove that, then what happens is that it actually submits the form when you click on that cancel button. Oh yeah, I didn't. I forgot that.
Okay, let's quickly check out this branch then.
Yep. There's something else I wanted to have a look at with you. That's like super quick. It's just a doubt.
Okay. So let's add the locales first. Category. Yeah. Select no next categories. Maybe I'll copy that.
Actually, there's some untranslated text as well that I need to change. I forgot. There's I just used the yeah. Kategorien. Kategorien. Kategorien.
This one is just a long I, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So this was Kategorien.
Kategorien.
Now it's Kategorien.
Kategorien. Okay.
Actually, no, I'm talking bullshit. Usually it's like just a long I, but in this case, indeed, you can hear the E. Kategorien.
Kategorien. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Got that. Come on. And what now? What else? Oh yeah. So let's test the resolver. The resolver response. I think I have to change this folder now.
Is it changing when you use Docker?
Yeah, there's some misconfiguration. If I have a volume which is synced with the Docker container, then for some reason the folder gets the permissions of the Docker user, which in a way makes sense. But then I'm not able to write it in with the permissions of my user anymore. And then
I've had this issue with some node modules after I use Docker with human connection, and then
what? What's that? Huh? Lost cache? So let's see the data. Come on.
One other thing I noticed that I was gonna maybe open an issue about is the seeded data, the title of the titles of the post don't
What?
comply with your front end validations.
What do I have to do here? Like something is wrong with data FNS once again.
I think you might need. Well, I don't know. You might need to remove your node modules in the web app and
I might
run Yarn.
just show problems and then Signal engines are so annoying. Interesting. What is about data FNS, right? Yeah. Why is that kind of find underscore libgit times the possibilities? I think this is something weird with our data functions.
It's interesting because Mike deals with issues with this data FNS as well locally, but I can't seem to replicate the issues.
And again, okay, now this is the time where I'm following your advice. Just remove the modules and install them again.
But you don't typically deal with this issue with like switching between Docker and running things locally.
Actually, the node modules folder here is not synchronized, right? So go in here and look for node modules, then you can see that there is a dedicated volume of
Nice.
node modules, and this is not synchronized with the node modules which are on the disk here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you shouldn't have issues, what you're saying, but I definitely have noticed having issues with switching between, like, which is why I'm asking you if you've dealt with them, because so you're starting this to test it from the UI, but you also wanted to do testing, like sending, like with the playground and sending.
Oh yeah, right. Actually, I don't need to damn it! Like, what's
yeah, because it's really weird.
I mean, the test server has passed now.
Yes.
So what's wrong?
I mean,
maybe there's just something like a major mess up with my system. And maybe this is the reason why I cannot get the other pull request. Like why the error messages are also different.
Yeah, well, I guess while you're doing that, I can be pulling down your pull request and running Cypress locally and see what I get. Git pull.
Okay. Nevertheless, I can do this and say, I don't know, ID not required, but name.
You want to do create post or create user?
Matt, I'm gonna create a user.
Oh,
sorry. No, I'm so confused.
Yeah, you've been working so long on creating user that you.
Sorry. Hello, Matt. Content. Hello. Oh, hello again. Okay, this should be enough. Then request the file. But I also request the comments. So this would be an iterable, and then I have the content. This should be enough, and I need to be logged in. So what I need to do now. So here's my JWT token. Take that. Go to create post. Oh, there was already some kind of user in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the problem. like it doesn't happen because you first create the post and then you reload the post with the comments, which runs fine because it's using the query which is auto-generated. But this would be a 500 error, I think.
Yes.
See. So this is unfortunate. I did the same thing with my PR regarding the counts. The user object has many counts, like how many contributions, how many whatever, how many followers. And this is also not implemented, but it would return 0 because if you have a null response in the resolver and you're expecting the response should be as an integer, the null gets typecast into 0, which is just wrong. It's not the truth. Or if you create the user, it might be even correct, but it's not as terrible as the 500 error.
Right.
Oh, it's not creating a 500 error, apparently. Where is the post? Is it the post? No, this is just post.
But it's making multiple requests.
Yes, constantly reloading the page, apparently. Does it do anything? I think so. There you go. And response. Okay, it's returning. Okay, it's not 500, but it's returning this error here.
Yeah.
And this is not on master. So if he.
No, I'm definitely familiar with this error because I needed to change like what information I'm requesting back if we're not actually using it because it was throwing this error.
I mean, what we could do is I can show you how I implemented. We can merge it. We can merge it and just be happy with it and say, okay, we should never request the comments when we create a post.
Yeah, the only thing is that I think I'm trying to think. I'm using that with comments. Like when I create a comment, I think I'm doing that's I think it's a query though. No, yeah, well, no. When I create a comment, it's not hitting the create posts resolver. It's hitting the comments resolver, and it's returning the post with its comments. You know.
Yeah, because apparently in the resolver you add the post manually, and then it's fine.
Yeah.
You can have a look.
But then if we did a larger refactor where we were like, oh, let's try to use this in all the resolvers, then it wouldn't work for comments, for example.
Yeah, so this is the comments resolver. You said you have in the create comment, you're adding the post. So
I need to refactor this for the validations as well that you asked me to do.
Yeah, there you have the post, and then you do something, and then you connect the relationship, and then, well, this call here, you don't have to do anything because this call, where is it? This one here. This is doing the job for you.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
If you would request the comments, the author, whatever, like the post, the author, doesn't really matter. Then this method would give it to you. Like it's the generated cipher statement will include all the missing objects and place them on the right.
I think it doesn't because when I tried that, I went in stages getting this working, and it was returning, like it wasn't failing, but it also wasn't returning any of the author's information, So like you wouldn't be.
It was empty.
Yeah.
So
it was returning. It was like returning author no, and which is annoying because I know it has an author. So what I ended up doing is like adding it as part of the comments object, like.
So this is the post I just created. And create. Let's create a post. Sorry, let's create a comment. Create comment. ID. This. And as a content, I comment. So what you're saying is, I request the.
I mean, this will work now because I've already changed the functionality.
So what does not work? Like post.
Yeah.
So and then we say. This should give us. Oh no, I have to change this one here to true. Yeah, to make it visible. Okay. Yeah, this is it, right? How did it appear this? Ready? Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, we found a bug.
It's because I think it's because in the editor it's always sent with p tags, you know, but it shouldn't fail if you. But yeah.
And the content is not even used.
Yeah, content that link.
Yeah, it just used once. Okay, so this is the problem. And content, but content is here. Like, how is it possible that it's undefined?
Yeah, that replace shouldn't fail. Like shouldn't return undefined if it doesn't find any.
Well, the params content, the replace is like here. Params is defined with content. Params of content is undefined. Then we get the undefined error because replace is being called an undefined.
But the error is at trim, not at replace, right?
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. So the error comes here. So the replace should not return anything. So we probably have to say content params content. Well, then it's not a const anymore. Place or empty string content true. Well, this is also like this is some kind of normalization, and in the pull request I have something like a normalization middleware.
Yeah,
where you would do this kind of thing.
You wouldn't want an or empty string, right? You would want or content, no?
Well, if this is returning null, oh yeah, I don't know. What is?
Can't you just content? You know, because the only reason we need that replace is for the editor. The editor passes in like HTML tag.
So replace returns null if there's no hit.
I don't know. It shouldn't. Not that I know of. It should return an empty string, right? I don't know. The empty string is if when it replaces it. How come yours? When I go to this developer.mozilla.org, it always puts it in Portuguese because I'm in Brazil. I hate it.
Honestly, like, how is it possible that content.replace returns nil? Yeah.
No,
This
I
is
don't
not.
know.
It should return the original string. Doesn't make any sense to me. Undefined. What? Content. Ooh, what the heck? It's like there's some kind of middleware which is just making this undefined. I am suspecting the XSS middleware. Oh no. So content is defined here, but it's not interesting. What comes after XSS? Soft delete user included fields order by. This cannot do anything. Soft delete. It doesn't change anything if I add an HTML tag like this.
I think it does.
No.
Can you try removing the post asking for its title and just ask for the author and its name? I mean, I don't know how that happens.
The post doesn't have a name.
Remove the post. No difference, huh? Weird.
I'm also adding the.
I mean, as far as I know, the comment functionality is not broken.
Post ID. Also not. Yeah, I have absolutely no idea. Like, here it is set, and then it's suddenly undefined. I'm getting really frustrated now. Can you see anything that I missed maybe? And I think the error really originates here because we reach this statement, like we reach line number 11, and then okay, what happens if I make this empty string? Then we passed the validation already. No, validations haven't yet. Also, I didn't save it. The heck? Where do we have replace? Oh.
No.
Now it's actually telling me something else, right?
Oh. Can I replace if undefined?
But I can't tell you.
I think you're destructuring content from params.content instead of from params, right?
Oh. Yeah. Matt, you're my hero.
Yeah. Helps to have a second pair of eyes.
This is estimate where. Or just check out. Cool. Okay, cool. So there we go. But what I would be interested in is no, I think I want to do this here. I am a comment. Okay. If I remove the tags. Same.
Yeah. So I don't know why you're trying to call trim on that. But is it because you're console logging that? Oh yeah, exactly. That I want to know.
Oh.
No. Yeah, it's fine. And what if you put back those nasty fields you were asking for? Oh, there we go.
That's why. There's another trim. So what you want to do is you want to change the schema.
Okay.
You want to do this. And so on. That's the trick here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because then.
Because you instead of checking, yeah. You just copy and paste that, and then add the post ID as required.
Is it true that we use the post ID only for? We don't need that. We don't need that either. Disable this. Actually, just need those 3 fields, right?
Because the ID will be created dynamically.
Yeah.
And you were saying, is it true we only use the post ID for? I think the only reason we use it is to associate the comment to a post. Because we don't want any posts to exist that don't have comments. In the update, yeah, we don't require it because
Anything else? Delete comment, maybe?
The only thing I would say about making changes to the update comment is that just keep in mind that Andrew has like a long-standing PR that he's kind of finished, but then that I made changes to remove that global event listener, and now he needs to refactor it. So I don't know.
So we're currently on new branch. So if I just run all the tests and they still pass, then we can just commit it and push it, no?
Yeah, I think so.
You have sufficient testing in there, no?
Yes. I mean, the stuff
this doesn't work because unknown argument ID, which is nice. Because we don't want to add the ID, we want to add the post ID. Okay. I think we proved this a little bit.
This stuff here has nothing to do with the categories. But.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you want me to add another pull request?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think you have to. I just didn't. I didn't know if you got confused with what because we were trying to test out some functionality and there were bugs.
Damn it! Oh yeah, we need for testing. We need the ID. Okay. Fair enough.
I think it might not need to be required though, or does it?
Oh, it doesn't. Yeah. It's not required, not at all. It was not required in the original. It's already updated, okay, but it is certainly not required. Just this is required.
Yeah, because we can create it dynamically. We only want to allow people to pass it in so that we can do tests, right?
Yeah, apparently some of the tests, they create a comment with a particular ID, and somewhere later in the test, you want to check the comment if something has changed. For example, let's say you update the comment.
Yeah.
In the test, you can check, okay, I don't know, IDC 23.
What I've done in the test, I think, in this is that I've just created the post, for example, and then saved it to a variable, and then just that variable create post.id,
Create comment post.
1 second.
What the heck? So this activity got broken anyways. Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. That's it. run the tests again.
Sorry, I walked away for a second. What was the problem?
With me?
Yeah, well, I don't know if there's a problem, but you sounded like you're explaining something, and I was away from the computer.
So a couple of tests failed because the mutation doesn't have the ID exclamation mark in there. So that's
right. Yep.
I kind of fixed the activity problem a little bit though.
I ran the cucumber test for yours locally, and it's not even running for me. But I don't know. Yeah, I need to have a look. It's saying uncaught type error, cannot read property, prototype of undefined. I don't know if you know, are you using anywhere prototype? We're using in the view filters. Okay. What I'll do is stop this.
Iš karto taip pat toksai nemalograminis ir aš tik sėdžiu, pašišinėlė paskutiniam suolė šalia manęs, aš manęs sprendžiu mokinį sistemą, kaip prieš mane tu ir smyliu. Tai atlokia padaręs, kaip paskutiniam suolė, ta prasme, jeigu mane atsėlė.
Yeah, you need to add.
Aš sėdėjau su tokiu reikėtų žinoti.
Do you have to need to add like resource?
No, I think that was just for the delete user. I was going to ask if you need to add the deleted and disabled, but I think we have a middleware for that, right?
Like, why is this happening? Why is like delete null instead of false? I don't understand that.
So this, like when the deleted user is called, it goes in and it's doing that like set. True. But yeah, I don't know why. I don't know how to change this with me guys. Do you need to say that delete like when you update comment, you need to be able to update the deleted field?
Yeah, I don't understand why this returns null, because I didn't change the type. So deleted flag is still here.
Yeah, it should be a boolean.
Absolutely. Yes. So it should not be null, it should be false.
But I think, like, if you try to go in the GraphQL playground, if you try to change your notation that updates the comment and sets the field disabled to true, do you get back like does it like give you an error? Like, does it error out?
I don't understand what you're saying.
If you go to GraphQL and you do an update comment mutation.
Okay, no.
Right. The database is cleared now. Yeah. It's still the annoying thing about switching between GraphQL and the test. Ele falou, Giverty, mas I think you have to. I think you have to I mean, it seems to me that maybe you need to whitelist the attributes for the update comment that you're updating in the text.
I have the same idea.
Because you're saying that you're not allowed to update any of those attributes, you know? I think created you might not need because we create with the default of false, correct? Which is why you're not getting any errors like when you're creating it. But like updating it, there are certain things that we do that actually update those attributes, you know?
What I don't understand is that we have a query of comment. Like, I'm not touching the query at all.
Ah, yeah.
So it's returning null.
That's weird.
Or empty.
But there must be some mutation going on because in the setup there's something going on in the setup that actually disables that. I had a look at that, like that setup function like goes there and it actually does do a mutation that updates the disabled by or the disabled attribute. Yeah. Setup, create resource.
So this is just creating tags.
But somehow, just looking at the test, somehow the disabled, like somehow that before and expected are like changes from disabled by null to disabled by.
Yeah, we create a pause. Here we create a comment. Comment variables.
Well, action. It's not setup. It's action that does the mutation, right? Yeah. There you go. Client.request mutation. That mutation is what
Mutation is just
enabled this
enabling
page.
it, and this is not affected by. Yeah, this is our custom mutation. Why
Yeah.
should it? Still doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But I mean, as you can see, Desktop has post ID. Oh, I think we can just remove that test case then.
It shouldn't be querying by the post ID anyways, because they're deleting the post ID.
So where's that? Is this...
It does not create the comment. Yeah, it does not create the comment with the as an attribute. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's just the test to see that it's actually being deleted. You know, we don't want to be creating the comments with a post ID. That's why we did the delete. So when we query for it and ask for its post ID, it should come back null.
So we can just delete the entire test case, correct?
I don't know. I mean, if you think it's not, if you think it's not necessary anymore, like
comment query for post ID.
It's something that we changed, like allows us not to be able to query a comment with its post ID.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense at all, because you never want to adjust the post ID. You want the post, not the post ID.
Well, I mean, I think the reason I thought it made sense is because like we have whitelisted that post ID is an attribute that the user can pass in, but we want to make sure that actually we're not creating comments with a post ID. We want it to always be null. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why we have the delete params.post ID, which I don't know. Maybe maybe that we don't need a test for that. But it's like a bad path, I guess. Not.
But if I don't know how the framework reacts when you have the attribute in the create mutation, but you don't have it in the type. Like I would expect the framework only to add attributes that are in the type defined.
But the post ID is in the type though. We had to add it to the type so that we could pass in a post ID.
I just removed it.
Oh, right. So then how? Oh, right. Okay. So we don't need to do delete. Oh, okay. So if we try to create it with a post ID, it will throw an error.
No, for creating, it needs to connect it to the post, right? So that's okay, but it definitely should not save this as an attribute.
No, but I mean, if it's not in the type, if you don't have post ID in the type, then if you try to create a post or comment with an attribute that's not in the type, it will throw an error. It won't create it.
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, we can check probably.
Because you remember, I don't know if you remember, like we specifically added the post ID, whitelist the post ID there in the type so that we could actually pass it in as a attribute. But now that you've added those mutations, like custom mutations, we don't need to add it to the type. We can just add it to the mutation.
Shall I just add this as a commit? Explicitly define all comment mutations in schema. Remove host ID as part of the to be persisted comment type.
So like to tie this in with this pull request, like I could do a similar thing for category IDs instead of adding it to the type. I could just add it to the mutation.
Oh yeah, that would be better. Remove everything from the type which shouldn't be exposed to the public. That's
and
what
also something I noticed as well that I can maybe refactor is that instead of defining the create post and update post in the schema.gql, I can define it where the type is defined. Where type post is
it all gets merged together.
Well, I know it still works, but like it just as far as style wise, we're moving towards.
That was the question. This is my style.
Yeah,
and I like it, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I know that there's like Ulf is doing a different style, but like I prefer this style over adding it to the schema.gql, because then the schema.gql just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. And like the stuff that I added, for example, for the create post and update post, because there's so many different fields that you need to add there, it'd be a lot cleaner if it's in one, a file that's related to just the post.
I think we can have one file for all those mutations that are not related to any type, which are not a CRUD operation. Like if the CRUD operations, I think we can keep them close to the type.
Yeah.
Everything like disable or enable or reward, we can probably put that somewhere else.
Yeah.
So since it's now passing, do you want me just to commit it?
Do I want you what?
Commit it and then push it?
Sure, why not?
Oh, I just have to, quit, go away. Yeah, that's right. Show looks about right. Down, wrong, then fix. Yeah, since you were implementing all the mutations yourself, I think we can safely push that. I think it looks a lot cleaner, don't you think?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and the schema will, if we implement all the mutations ourselves, the schema will not be that big anymore, I guess. All those add, remove, and things like that, they should get removed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But you didn't test what you were in the middle of testing, like how to deal with asking for, like, if we have our own for the create posts with categories, like since we're not using Neo4j GraphQL JS, like we can't ask for, like, for example, the comments back because otherwise it throws an error. And how can we deal with that situation?
I mean, we can just simply not deal with it right now.
Okay.
Because
okay.
I'm implementing. I'm using Neode for the resolvers. I can show you how I did it. So post ID, much cleaner now. And content. Actually, why do we have the content excerpt in the? This doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah, it gets dynamically generated, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like this. Does it also still? Oh, I'll do it later. I'll do it later because this will wipe out the entire database now.
Yeah.
Okay, content, and then.
Did you? I didn't see that you removed that that part of the validation from the comments.js. Because the reason you started doing this is you were saying that we don't need that line 21 through 24 anymore because we can add it to the schema. That was where you identified the error was coming from, right? When we were doing, I can't even remember why I was doing post ID.trim. Yeah.
Can I do push force?
Sure.
Has been just a couple of seconds before.
Yeah, I'll pull that.
Okay. Now, what do I want to do? Yeah, that would be interesting, just to see how the framework works. How about just doing that for a moment?
I would assume that this would fail because it would not be able to. It wouldn't, like, if it's not in the type, it wouldn't be able to deal with trying to add a post ID, like create a comment with the post ID attribute.
Interesting.
Once the excerpt you turn in time.
Yeah, then we have the same problem. If it's not defined in the
it needs to be. If we're, yes, that's kind of unfortunate. If we have to add it, like
that's exactly the problem that I ran into earlier.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that I generate on the server, similar to the nonce. Same problem there, right? So I want to create a nonce, but it doesn't make any sense at all to expose it through the mutation.
Yeah, you're right. It is the exact same problem.
Okay.
I mean, in this case, it's not dangerous. It's just like it feels unnecessary, right? In the case of the nonce, it's like dangerous.
Yeah, and I think adding your type declarations also for the mutations yourself, like, gives you the option to really double check what you're doing, like, and what are the endpoints for the API. Okay, now the service is okay. So, there you go.
So it does create it.
It does create the post ID.
Which is what we don't want. And it's kind of, I guess, weird for me because I would think that if it's not in the type, like, I guess whatever you declare in the mutation overrides what's in the type.
Yeah. So odd. Okay.
I guess that makes it a little unclear to me what the purpose of the type is then, if you can just like supersede it with something in the mutation.
Yeah, it's just different. It doesn't have anything to do with the database, right? The type is what you can read from
right. Okay.
The GraphQL server. So it's nothing to do with the database itself. Just this framework makes the type, uses the type and generates all the mutations, and then they apparently use all the attributes that are in the mutations, which it just assumes to be auto-generated. to be part of the model that gets persisted to the database, and that way, and it just creates a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So it's really just for something where you like, we have a small, like your own database, and you don't have to worry about inconsistent data or something. Like many people working on this application, I don't know, people with data science or something, you just need a GraphQL. Give me everything, give me all the endpoints. I think that's like the perfect use case for this library, but not for us. Okay, so what we could do is, like, we don't have the test anymore. That's checking if the post ID is not being added to the database. So we have to delete the params.
Yeah.
On the other hand, does it really hurt? Because what should happen? I mean, we have just random data in this node.
Yeah, I don't know that it hurts. I think it's just something that we don't need. But like, would it help a query at all if we could look at find all comments with the attribute post ID blah blah?
No, that's not the graph database way.
Yeah,
that's the relational database way of doing it.
Yeah.
So if I do this, I think I can still do it, right?
Can you ask for post ID back?
No, of course not, because post ID is not the type anymore.
Ah, right.
Where's the comment type? Yeah, so if post is not here, I cannot ask for the post ID back.
Oh, really? Well, even though it's yeah.
Okay. Because
you wouldn't be able to do it, right?
This is the response of create comment. You can request all the types, all the attributes that are defined in the comment type.
Yeah.
So what's coming in here? Right, so it would make more sense to have content except here removed, but keeping content except here.
Yes. But if you do that, then you can't manipulate the content
except.
Then
I have to refactor all of it, like all this. Like I have to replace this with something written myself, which I would prefer, right, for the mentioned reasons.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but what I'm interested in is, so this, now I removed post ID, and it's not in there anymore. Well, great, it's genius. Okay. So this is as far as we can get, I would say. Okay. And what do I want to do now? Like we researched how the library works in that respect, and we also wanted to know if we get some related stuff. For example, the author of the comment and the name. And there's the name.
But that's working because of the implementation that I put there, right?
Oh. Okay.
Post, for example, you said.
Oh.
Yeah, see, it's no.
Wow. Really?
Yeah. I mean, isn't that for the same reason that you were saying earlier? Is that no. Yeah,
really?
I was surprised by, and that's the reason I added all that code is because in the query you can, if you query for the comment with its author, then it will return the nested values. But if you do it in a mutation, then it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so even one more reason to get rid of this library for mutations, because.
But yeah, I mean, like for the comments, it was necessary because if I want to update, like if what I'm doing is to get rid of the global event listener, I don't want to requery. I want to like grab the mutation and then use the mutation's nested values to update like the query. So I need the author, otherwise the comment will show up as anonymous, and then the user will be like, "What the fuck?" So like that's why I modified this. But and it's not so difficult either because it's only one nested. But in the case of the categories, I wanted to do the same approach because I'm like, oh well, I'm happy if the create post returns its nested like its categories. But then it was much more complicated because it's like it's an array of objects of comments, and so I ended up needing to like map through like 3 or 4 different times to actually return an object that had the post with its categories, with, you know, an array of objects. And then it's like, what am I actually using those categories for? I'm not actually using them. So I end up refactoring it and simplifying it.
Yeah. Okay. But this here, the fact that our infantry GraphQL.js function does not, as I was expecting it to be, like adding somewhere the author or like the post. That fact means we don't have to worry about the 500 errors or the errors that we get when we request nested fields, because it wasn't implemented before.
Yeah.
So right now the server is buggy in that respect, and we not make it more buggy if we don't add them. So that means that we can actually just reprove this.
Yeah.
Maybe you could fix that typo.
Yeah.
But
apart from that, get fast in the build and stuff. And there's also a I think there's one translation for something to do with the UI that I didn't add, that I remember.
Yeah, I think I added the
German,
the completely untranslated text, right?
Yeah, it's in the category select .view. And also, I think I will refactor those. If I'm going to be pushing something up, I might as well refactor the mutations and create and update post into the GQL.
The fuck?
It's funny the things you get back when you when you search for something.
Not really quite what I wanted to express.
Yeah.
With this guy here?
Sure, why not? It's funny. Yeah, that's all right. Look at the same.
Okay, I think I need a quick break for 5 minutes, and in the meantime, you can do me 2 favors. First, fix that typo at the translations, the missing translations. Then push up the code.
Yeah.
And finally, I would like to work on my pull request now because I need your help.
Yeah, I'm actually currently on your branch trying to run the Cypress test. So should I switch branches and push up the stuff, or?
Now, yes. But regarding my pull request, it would be great if you could tell me if you can reproduce the same error. And my errors right now is not here, but I can tell you, like, the error that I'm facing is a different error from our Travis build server. So the Travis build server tells me something about missing modules, which makes sense, absolutely, because we are using Neodi on Cypress tests, and if it's complaining about not finding Neodi, that makes totally sense to me.
Yeah, it's the same error that I was doing.
Yeah, but on my machine, I'm getting something like cannot call something on prototype undefined. Something.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. That's the exact same error I was getting.
Okay, interesting. So then my setup is not completely broken, but for some reason Travis has better error messages than I have. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's do this. I'm getting a 5 minutes break, and then I get back. Okay.
Yep. Cool. Over here.
Nice. Hello, hello.
Hello.
I want to show you how I implemented the nested resolvers for mutations. Have you seen
Please.
this?
No, I haven't.
If you want, you can check out the users resolver.
Wait, that's not going to work. What am I doing? How? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The thing I was saying this untranslated is the category.name, but the category.name is something that's saved in the database, like the categories are added in the database. So are we going to have them? How are they going to be translatable? Then we'd have to have different nodes for every single category and every single language.
You're asking questions, Matt. So there are different options to implement what you want. You could either do it the globalized way. If you know the GAM for Rails called Globalize.
Yep.
So Globalize adds translations for objects in the database.
Yep. Which is something that you were talking about doing for. Oh, so it is they're translated in the alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I mean, for now, I guess it's outside the scope of this PR.
Yeah, so I think the globalized way is still the best, like to have the translations in the database. So you could add additional properties for each language you want. Although, like that's like another way would be add one key and then translate that on the client, which would be nicer in case you want to have a default. But
yeah,
it's also strangely couples front-end and back-end together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you would add categories, which you're supposed to be able to as administrator, you have to touch the source code of the front end.
Yeah. Yeah. The administrators are not necessarily developers.
No. Maybe we can just assume for now that we have a fixed set of categories.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I've been operating like that actually, because it's not like tags where we're allowing the users to create them, you know.
Maybe we should at some point start to translate things in the backend.
Yeah, I mean,
also for error messages, that would be quite nice. I'm having the problem right now that I have to distinguish between two types of error messages.
Yep.
And I just can't. Like I was thinking about sending a translation key to the front end, because it would still be okay to have the translate. In that case, it is like just two different types of error messages, right? And then it's okay to couple the front end and the back end together. So I was trying to find out how can I tell Apollo server to also add a custom key to the error, and I failed. But now, since you're bringing this up with the categories, I'm thinking about maybe we should actually add some translation also on the backend, because you can't send locale to the backend and then translate the error messages back. That's possible.
Yeah. I never mind. I was thinking that Alex did something similar, but we did it based on the error coming back, not based on the language. The other thing I thought of is that is not directly related to what we were just talking about, but is that we didn't manually test that creating comments is not broken from the front end, because there might be mutation in the front end that needs to be changed. For example, I can't remember if you did that or not, but like we have a comment mutation. This comment mutation, it looks like you did change it.
I just create a grep for every post ID.
Okay, cool.
or every create comment, like the name. I think for create on line number 5, the create comment, capital letter C, create comment. That
Yeah.
should,
I did a search result for this prototype, and like that we were getting an error in the address. But yeah, I guess when I did
how could you debug this? Can you show me how you debug?
well, I mean, the thing with the Cypress not finding the module is I think clear to me what it is, but maybe it's clear to you as well. But like certainly the error that I was facing is that if Cypress, like we needed to add Faker, for example, like if it's used to see data, we need to add Faker to our high level dependencies as well at the root level, where our Cypress lives. So did you add Nude here?
I did, like locally. I think I have like 2 commits which I didn't push up because I wanted to. I can show you what I'm doing
Yeah.
on the screen. So I'm now checking out the 943 branch, and there are 2 commits, like the one which I haven't yet finished. And basically, I just tried out what happens if I add all the backend dependencies. Just to make sure. Yeah. Damn it. And what else? Fix Cypress. Oh yeah, there was some missing. There was just some missing fixes here because apparently now I'm expecting Slack to be a piece of username. I think that's like a validation. And if the factories are using the models. And before that, the email was just undefined at example.org.
Right.
Oh yeah, exactly. The email is now unique. Email is unique, and I think this would create duplicate emails, like many undefined at example.org.
Yeah.
So I specify the author, and then this is fixed. So that was that. And the last
that didn't change the error message locally at the prototype undefined.
No, not on my machine. I mean, I could try it out again.
I did a search for prototype in the code base, and the only place that I can see that it's actually being used that might have anything to do with it is in the viewfilters.js, where it's calling view.
How is it possible that we have dependency on view on like the top level?
Yeah.
The Cypress test. To me, this doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that would be causing, and certainly it doesn't necessarily mean that prototype is coming from the code base.
But also, I don't know how to debug. Oh, there's a bug on my display now. Go away. I have enough bugs in my computer. I don't need bugs on my computer.
So yeah, like those changes you made to the comment thing has broken the functionality from the front end.
Oh no.
Which it's not it's passing all the tests. Well, I think it probably might fail Cypress, but it's saying that created at, like I think we're manipulating created at, and so we have to add it to the mutation.
Well, okay, then add it to the mutation.
Yeah, I'll add it.
Having a couple of attributes which are not necessary is better than having all of them in there.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, is like adding one by one and just adding the ones that are absolutely necessary probably is a good way to go about it.
Yeah, and we should, like, one by one also remove those attributes that are not necessary. The factories, they are using HTTP requests, right? And it makes total sense to set up data with factories. Back in the day when I started to write Cypress tests and backend tests, I asked Greg if he wants to have the seeds also using all the middlewares and like the entire, like to go through the entire stack, and he wanted it to be like that because he thought like the seeds are also kind of testing the server. But I think it's creating a lot of troubles if you need to set up data through your own API. Because sometimes the data is just there for tests. You want to just create data and not go through the entire stack.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you need,
like for example, you've disabled the you disable some of the like middlewares, for example, when you're creating the factories.
Exactly. So this is showing, this is a strong indicator that something is just not right. If right now we just have too many factories that are creating too many things, and for example, all the relationships are still using the HTTP request, which is just not nice. And all the adds and removes something from something shouldn't be there, and we only need them for the factories, because as you can see in the permissions middleware, actually the permissions middleware is a nice list of all the mutations that we actually need for production.
Yep. Okay, so add everything. Get commit.
Yeah, so on-code type error cannot read prototype of undefined. Where might this come from? I have absolutely no idea. It must be.
Cannot read property prototype of undefined. So I found an issue on Cypress Cucumber preprocessor with the same canary property prototype of undefined. This problem was caused because the step definitions was in package.json and in the VCLI configuration provided by the plugin. To make this work, I have to delete the entry in package.json, add the preprocessor line and the step definitions in the object returned. I'm going to start adding this to the docs. Let me send you this issue because I'm sure you probably didn't follow exactly what I was saying.
No.
I don't know even that I followed exactly what I was saying.
This has to do with you, and I don't think I'm on master. The subprocesses are okay, and I changed something in the backend, so it must have to do something with the factories, not with Vue. I mean, I can check at master, just pull, and then install dependencies. Already up to date, okay. Now I'm installing dependencies. And let's say I'm on Cypress setup. Master has new packages. Maybe. Okay, I'll do that later. I could actually merge in master just to have the same set of node modules, both machines. So Cypress open. Well, if master doesn't throw this error and my branch does, then it must be my fault. Like,
yes.
The error is certainly in the diff somewhere.
Yeah. Get push origin head and back to the other your branch and Origin master dot head. UCLI configuration. Preprocessor. File colon preprocessor. Right.
It's taking a long time. Maybe I'm lucky. Even the master fails. No, the master doesn't fail. Oh, 500 server error? How is this possible? Can't find module.
That same thing you're getting before now,
Yeah.
which we didn't find out where it was coming from.
Oh, this is so
And you
annoying.
then persisted when you remove the node modules and reinstall them.
Bad gateway. Great. Great. I love it. NPM is down. Super cool. I'm so annoyed. You
Good
can't.
times.
Yeah. Like sometimes just nothing works. Like you could just go from error to error.
Yeah. You
No.
end up spending. This is why it's difficult to have like 1 hour pairing session and expect to like, you know, if you're working on a project 1 hour a week, for example, or something, to expect to be able to have much progress, because sometimes you end up just like spending that amount of time. Like sometimes I'll be pairing with Mike, for example, and he'll be dealing with an issue on his computer with, you know, the state FNS thing, for example. And then we just end up spending a long time trying to debug what the error is. By the time we end up figuring it out, it's like, okay, it's time to go. And we haven't actually even looked at the issue. You know?
Okay, now I installed it. At least the install procedure is still working, or maybe Yarn uses a different package repository, does it?
Dan NPM.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yes, I think so, because like that I don't know, that ignore engines thing that you've been using, like are you using like and Node 11 or something? I didn't see. Because Andrew the other day, he was using Node 11 and then he wasn't able to run Yarn install, for example. He could only use with NPM. NPM creating a package lock.json.
So I'm using Node
12, yeah. And we don't allow that in the project for, I guess, or I don't know.
Actually,
if it's us.
we do it because 12 is another long-time supported version, and this package just didn't update its own requirements because it only wants to it only wants to support long-time support versions, which 12 is one.
Yeah, right. I think I'm still on 10.
Yeah.
But Andrew uses Windows, so he doesn't have like and he just doesn't have like NVM, for example. Like he doesn't have any package manager.
Same error again. Okay, I can get rid of it. Yarn packages. I just want to know what are the currently. What the heck? Yarnpackage.com also bad gateway. What the heck? Matt, could you double check if NPM is down on your side?
Yes. Just like run npm install, for example.
No. The website
In the browser. Okay.
Yeah, the two links.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And the yarnpackage.com also?
Yarnpackage.com.
Yeah, I added the link to the chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Down as well.
What the heck?
Weird. What's going on? Check console with stack tracer. Click this message to see where it originated from. It originated from support.index. Yeah, it originated from index.js, support index.js. Plugins, web app, Cypress, support index.js. Right. Weird. So yeah, because it's compiled, right? So it probably adds everything to index.js, but there's that object.create, and it's trying to create http.server response.prototype, and http.server response is coming back as undefined. Module dependency buffer, blah, blah. Okay. Object.create, we have this anywhere? No, we don't even have this anywhere. So this must come from module. No. Okay. Let's see. So yes. HTTP is a server-side node module. You can't use it in a browser if that's what you're trying to do. Okay. Again, you can't use it in a browser.
Oh no. We are on the most recent date, FNS. Okay. Repository not found. Filter.
Yeah, it's saying it seems to be saying that like the error we're getting is related to requiring node-specific libraries into browser code.
Okay, so where are you at now?
So I went to the console in the here, let me share the Cypress history that I found. Where are you? I don't even know where you are. There you are. I noticed in the console, it gives me the same error, but then it says like, check your console for the stack trace or click the message and see where it originated from. And then so I clicked on this, and that took me to this. Where did it take? It took me to this, the debugger. Starts, and then it has this line here, object.create, and it's passing in HTTP server response dot prototype, and it's saying that HTTP server response is coming back as undefined, and then we're trying to call prototype on it. And then I searched Google and found found this Stack Overflow that's saying HTTP as a server-side node module. You can't use it in the browser if that's what you're trying to do. And then I read a little bit more about that, but then I searched for it with Cypress, and then I found an issue on Cypress as well. And they're saying that in the case of this person, they're using FS read stream in the So, and that was the point of the failures here. And then the maintainers of this maintainer of Cypress chimed in and said, you cannot require node-specific libraries into browser code. But you can use CY exec or CY request or CY task for interopt with the background node process. So the question is what? Because I don't think you touched anything about the Cypress code, right?
I touched the factories, but of course, if I touch the factories which get loaded in the Cypress code, this could be one of those errors.
Yeah.
So I'm also like expecting it to load some kind of strange library which just doesn't work on it. It would make sense actually.
Yep.
So I think I can pinpoint the maybe bcrypt.js, could it be?
The source of the.
Oh no, npm is down.
If npm is down, it's going to be difficult to test theories, isn't it?
I think you can check out the GitHub page. But this is also working in the browser. So Apollo server. So we have the user factory, which is different now. The user factory is reading encrypt password from source users. Wrong one. It's actually the registration is over. So there's encrypt password. But it doesn't really throw an error message. Would it make Here we have Apollo server and we are importing user input. How can I understand JavaScript files? I mean, I'm only interested in that particular function. And if I place this into a file which has all the import statements, do they get loaded when I use it? Do you get what I mean? Like, does user input error get reloaded?
Yeah, I don't know. You're saying like when you does it get compiled?
So how about adding something like a helper folder here? For example, where should I place this function? In the resolvers? That's where they are. Where it's used. Or should I? There's actually a helper folder. Okay. Encrypt password. Yes. There we go. And then we go here, password, paste it in there, report that. That's it. We don't need any more. So can make this a default or default function. Parse. Go. And password would be import statement on its own. Crypt password from. Okay, how many levels do we have to get up? Source. Schema resolvers. 1, 2, 2 enough. And then this password. Save. Now this is in its own file, and it should not require user input error anymore. And now what we have to do is we go into the factories, to the user factory, which encrypts the password, and this doesn't come from here anymore, but from helpers. Encrypt password, like this. And then we check if backend tests are still okay. First of all, maybe we want to check that and start the server.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe it's cleaner that way.
Yeah. Why do you always use run?
I don't know. It's more a habit. Like I think it gives you nice error messages if you mistype the script, and also it's unambiguous.
Okay.
Kind of find happy. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So that seems to be okay. Now let's see what the tests say. There you go. If they are okay, then we can try out the Cypress tests. I mean, this would make sense, and it would also be for me a lesson that if you use methods somewhere and you have those import statements, that all the imports that are listed here in the same file will get imported, even if you use this particular method completely, if it's like absolutely dependency free. And in that case, it is. It just has one dependency to hash sync coming from bcrypt.js.
Mm-hmm.
Because before we were using HTTP requests, and they were going through the stack, and along the way, the password got hashed. Okay, before it was sent to the database. Now we are bypassing. We're basically bypassing.
Yeah.
Server, and so we have to encrypt the password ourselves in the factories.
Yeah.
Is there a cat?
Yes.
Nice.
She's hungry, I think. I don't know why. I gave her food before I started work, but my other cat, he's lots of failures. You did a named import instead of default.
I mean, if that's really the problem, this would make totally sense.
Yes.
I have to remove those odd. Okay, that looks nice. So log statement, because I was expecting the config thing to be kind of broken. No, it's in Neo4j.js. There, with that sheet. Okay. Oh, and now I broke the test, of course, because it's reloading, and then tests will not run anymore. But this looks okay, because one of those tests is certainly creating a user. So now this should be good. Put crypt password in its own file to avoid unnecessary imports. Okay. I'm also myself not so much confident regarding JavaScript. Oh no, I cannot do setup if the other tests are still running.
You're more confident with Rails, right? Or with Ruby?
With Ruby, yeah. Yeah, these are the subtles. Oh no, cannot run. Cypress open. JavaScript sometimes is still a mystery to me. It's not so like sometimes behaves in a strange way. Its behavior, like it's also its nature. It can run in the browser. It can run. Yeah, so I think that's what's making it difficult. Unless there's some people get interviewed in front of the cafe glass. There's one guy having a camcorder filming conversation. Okay, let's run the specs. If you get another error message now, then this would indicate that indeed we have some unnecessary imports. We are running into this error. Okay, we will certainly get another error, I guess, because we see this. Can I find models log? Yes, nice. Okay, cool. Yarn add dependency development. Dependency slug. Now I want a capital D.
This is in the root level that you're adding, and you're adding a dev dependency. Yeah. Okay. And did you remove because you had said you had added basically all the dependencies there, but you've now removed them and you're adding one by one as needed?
No, actually you're right. They should be there. Slug. Hey, git check out origin masters package.json. Yeah.
But you're happy because we got past that prototype error. Otherwise,
wonderful. Now the npm registry is also down.
So this is like practice for what it would be like me trying to work on the plane.
Oh, can't find the dependencies.
I don't know. Nowadays on international flights, they don't have like internet access, or maybe they do, but you have to pay for it.
Are there flights which have internet access?
I don't know. I was wondering if you knew.
How is it possible? Like, how can you get internet up there?
I mean, they apparently I've heard that they do have like because there was like a big thing about like internet on international flights. list of airlines offering in-flight Wi-Fi.
Wow.
There's quite a lot of them actually. Let's see if mine does. Latam, no. Of course not.
But how does it work? Like, do they get it from
Ham does.
satellite?
I'm not sure actually, to be honest. Now that you mention it,
Or maybe they just cache the entire internet and then put it into a server and put it on the plane.
there's 8 of them that offer in-flight Wi-Fi for free. Emirates, JetBlue, Norwegian, Turkish Airlines, Air China, Philippine Airlines, Hong Kong Airlines, and Nokia Air. Quite a lot of Asian representation there. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, my build failed because it wasn't able to, because NPM was down. That makes sense.
This is always causing us pain, no? The view filters thing here. Add seconds.
Yes.
How do we do it? Add seconds, new date. From 2000, 1st January 2000.
Duration. So looks like something Greg added because it has a comment, right? Format seconds or milliseconds to duration. Because I don't think it's used in the relative date time, for example.
What the heck? Like, where does it come from? Where does it come from? Where do we need duration? Like,
Maybe not.
duration. Guess
I'm sure there's stuff in the code base that we don't use anywhere.
Duration. No, this is not a filter. It's a prop.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't even need it. Like, what the heck?
Well, maybe we have it because sometime in the future we might want to use it, you know?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
And in the meantime, you just need to deal with buggy.
Count 2. So I would actually like to, before I do something silly,
drastic,
like what's the duration here? So count 2. Interesting. This compound. No.
Count 2 from view count 2. It's a third party. Right. Okay, comes from
could be
view count 2.
Yeah, right. View count 2. But it doesn't. It's just you don't need it. Like, we don't need our duration filter for it.
No, because it's just passing in an amount of milliseconds.
Okay, so this is safe. And editor, I don't think we have any duration there. Is this also just a number? And the Nux config could still be something. No, it's just a number.
No. hard-coded.
Okay, I'm doing what I like to do. Just
Remove the code.
remove
Don't
bullshit.
forget to remove the add seconds.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the reason you want to remove it, right?
Seconds only used here. Nice. And it's gone. Do you know the South Park episode? And it's gone.
No,
No?
I don't know. Are you deep in thought right now, or can I talk?
Am I what?
Deep in thought.
No, you can talk.
I want to see this first though. I was just gonna say, do you remember that I was having an issue with upgrading the GraphQL Shield? Like the upgrading of GraphQL Shield broke the implementation of.
What the heck?
Format relative index.js. I think it's just with date NFS altogether, which we still have dependencies on.
DataFNS, what's wrong with you? You're always causing us some pain. Underscore lib. Mr. Underscore here. DataFNS. Wait.
All right, so this is the person you wish to have co-sign for you?
Well, that's correct. See, I hired a bunch of minions to help me destroy the town. But my plan didn't actually come to fruition, so I'm unable to pay the minions at this time.
All right, well, what we can do is set up an LLC for you, which we can use to fund a money market account co-signed by your friend here, whose house we can put a lien on to an overseas investment, and it's gone.
What's gone?
Your friend's house, it's gone. Owned by a company in Hong Kong now. Thank you, God bless you.
But I just needed to pay my minions. I didn't mean to get my friend's house taken away.
Yeah, you're not too good at this economic stuff, huh? Perhaps your friend should play.
Yeah, you play, new kid.
Round and round she goes, where she stops, nobody knows. All right, kid, try your luck. Round she goes, where she stops, only a random number generator knows. Hit your class advancement goal and rise to the next economic level, but go bankrupt, your level will drop.
Oh, God, okay, look.
And it's real estate. Now you've got the taxpayer bailout bonus. When you land on bankruptcy, it's the taxpayers that take the hit.
It's the taxpayers that take the hit.
Oh, yeah. What's gonna happen?
And bingo, credit default swap. That means you earn the market manipulation bonus. If you use this before a spin, you can instantly stop the spin whenever you want.
Oh, God, okay, look.
And you've done it. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. These children just got a loan for over $80,000 to pay immigrant workers their salaries. You
I don't even know that one. I just know the all the like, and it's gone.
And it's gone.
Okay, and I'm still struggling with this DataFNS error. So I removed the node modules again. But I mean, how is it possible that this changes anything? Like,
Yeah.
And also, do you get this error?
No, this is the thing is Mike has gotten this error before and it's kind of derailed us from him driving, you know. But I've never been able to replicate it on my machine.
Shall I commit and you try to run this?
Yeah, please. Yeah, I was going to suggest that, but then I didn't.
Yeah, but just set git add patch. Yeah. No. Oh, well, actually, everything in yarn log can go in there. Remove. Like I'm really writing dirty commits. I think I will just squash everything later on and then.
Yeah. Where did I switch?
Okay, I'm pushing it. If you want, you can check it out. And
yep. Git pull origin 943. Yep. And then run yarn and yarn and
what can I do to try to debug this particular error? Shall I maybe run this from Docker?
Yeah, I mean, you weren't getting the error in Docker, were you?
I don't think so. So Docker compose.
What distribution of Linux are we using in Docker?
Alpine.
Alpine, right. And you're on Arch, no?
Yes.
And I'm on Ubuntu.
But like let it rebuild the packages, and then I think I'm coming back. I also need to go somewhere else once again. And you can tell me in the meantime how it went for you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
See you later.
My Bucky. My buddy. Aí. Eu sou fã do Bear. Nossa. Você pode trazer água e, tipo, para beber e um esponja para limpar a mesa? E uns beijos também, por favor. Nossa, é tão difícil, né, Bé? Hã?
All right.
So I'm getting a different error than you. Like it's giving me a unauthorized. It's not connecting to Neo4j, which I'm connected here. Let me turn this a little bit. So
This is good.
what I did is I stopped the server and restarted it, and I reset the database, and I'm not sure why it's. And I also checked my Cypress env, which I don't think has changed at all, but I just double checked it, and this is my login info.
Yeah.
I was just using it a minute ago on a different branch.
This makes sense because on Neode we need another set of credentials. So
Do you have those locally that you can send me?
no. If you just open Bootstrap and Neo4j.js in the backend, yes, this one. There you can see it. Like it's taken from config. Config has Neo4j URI and Neo4j username, Neo4j password. It would be interesting to see, like, could you maybe just, that's what I did earlier, console log the config object. Yeah. Not there, but on like line number 21 or 22. 22 is all right. Yeah, after this statement, because then you will get a lot of logs.
Okay.
This is like lazy loading an Neo4j Node instance. Yeah, and then run the surface tests.
I'm just running the first two tests because that way it's faster and less output. So it's an object that has the client URI and username Neo4j and password Neo4j, which it should be let me in, right?
Yeah.
So why is config Neo4j password should be taking it from the env, no? Is it not taking it from the env?
No. It's the backend is taking it from somewhere else. This is what Wolf has introduced. This like config thingy. Yeah, no. If you go to backend and then /source and then /config. No. Backend.
Oh, sorry.
Or maybe it's in one level above that. Could also be just search for config /
Apollo config, GraphQL config.
No.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but why is Neo4j like this is like default? You're changing the default. Like, why is process not giving you a password? Can you check out .env in the backend, please?
What's that? Sorry?
Could you check out .env in backend?
Yes.
If you don't mind that I see your Neo4j password.
No, I don't think I've actually made it secure. I've just left it as the same.
I mean, Neo4j password. What is .env in the top level?
It's the same. The Cypress env?
No, .env.
Do we have a top level env? I don't think we do we? No, we just have web app.
What happens if you just copy the one from backend to the top level? Or when?
Copy.env to .env. I did the test passed with that changing the, like you were saying, like that's not a good solution because then we need to change it here.
But this is like a really good message because the Cypress has to run, and I learned something.
Yeah, so it's the same
Can you
error.
give me then log out process.env in the config? Like it's on line number 3, it's using .env config, and I wonder where does that get its data from? It should be from some kind of .env file. But at best, it would be the .env file from the backend, because then we have just one location.
Which is which? No, that's an error. Undefined. Password Neo4j, username Neo4j.
Where does it come from? Then you're overriding it somewhere.
So this is a const from the process.env, but it sets up like defaults, right? So
Yeah. So where do you log it before line number 5? Can you just make a hint that this is like .env? Just to make sure that it's actually the one that you see here.
So it's this error. FS read file sync is not a function.
What the heck?
It's funny because I think that Cypress issue that I shared with you is saying something about read. No, read stream, FS read stream. Read file sync is not a function. Read file sync comes from the index.js. Find GQL files. Type test.push fs to string.
Are you sure it's coming from there?
Well, no, I'm not 100%. That's the only place in the code base that we have read file sync, but it could be coming from.
What did the console log give us? Like .env that was adding an error?
Yes, the calling .env.config is throwing an error. So it's just using the fallback as the config.
Okay, all right. So I don't know why it's not throwing an error on line number 3. The .env config doesn't have anything to do with the GraphQL schema. It just has something to do with your process env. So apparently we cannot use the config in the Cypress test. So we have to do something about it, like just feed the factory or the Neodi instance the necessary credentials in a different way.
Why can't we use the credentials here that we have set up in our Cypress m.json?
Yeah, we use them. If you check out the factories for Cypress, then we use them for deleting the database. And this is the first time where we set up the factories also in Cypress, because before that we were just sending HTTP requests to see the server.
So that would be what, in support?
No, in integration. Oh, actually, yes, factories.
Factories.
So that's the Neo4j driver, and we use it for the factory to delete the data, to clean the database.
Yeah. And also use it for creating nodes, relating, mutating. authenticate as.
So how can we get process env? Matt, what would you say? Like, how can we fix this?
Can't. So this is Neo4j JS. So this is in the back end, which is why.
Yeah, we have to fix it in the config, in this config file. Maybe we just cannot use .env there. But on the other hand, .env.config fails, but doesn't tell us any error.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know why that's failing.
I mean, it's okay if it's failing for Cypress, as long as it's just not crushing it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can, like there was something particular about Cypress and .env.
Here we can do this.
So this means the config will always have the defaults, and you cannot change them. Which is in a way unfortunate, but not so terribly difficult to do, I guess. UniOD. Maybe we can give the factory the NeoD instance. That's strange. I'm slowly thinking about moving out the factories out of the backend altogether and place it somewhere where we can test it independently.
From the root level, for example?
Mm-hmm. I think I can refactor it. What about, so my idea is the following. A quick fix probably, which you can do right now is, could you just open the Neo4j JS, the way how we set up NeoD? So if
Yeah,
should
I delete this? I think I should delete this because it's throwing an error.
What?
It's throwing an error. Like if I add that error, trying to do the error handling, it's instead of just failing it silently, it's like you're throwing an error. So Neo4j JS.
this config file works fine in the backend, but it doesn't if you use it for the Cypress test. In the Cypress test, the only thing we need is the Node instance, line number 20. So what I have in mind is to create another function, just add between number 20 and 21 the following function. Say export function. Set up Neodi. And add, I don't know, a config object to it, like into the input parameter. No. From the on line number 21 in the parentheses, just add a config.
Mm-hmm.
And then you basically copy line number 27 and 28.
Could the issue be that that we don't have .env at the root level of the project, where Cypress is trying to run?
Could also be.
Because but then it maybe would error out saying that it.
Yes, we have it.
We do have. Yeah. Okay. All right. So.
Yeah, it just doesn't work for Cypress. That's the problem here.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're setting Neodi instance like you just set it. And you remove line number 2. Copy it to line number 26. No. And then you say not import config, but you say config equals require.
Yeah.
No, you can keep that. Require. Yeah, that should be okay. So actually you can also merge 26 and 27. Just override the config on the right side with the right side of the line before. The right side, not the left side of the statement.
Override the right side.
Copy that.
Here.
Override config. I don't think config is used anywhere else.
Yeah, right. So then get rid of this.
So you can get rid of that. So this is it. I would line number 21. There's an error on line number 21. You used capital letters here. You should use lowercase letters.
On line 21?
Yeah, at the end of line 21.
Yeah, need to destructure it from. And
now that's it for now. And then you go into Cypress, and the Cypress integrate. Where are the factories hard to find?
Yeah, factories.js. Get driver. Instead of import get driver, import setup Neodi.
Yeah, we could try. Let's try. That's all right. Let's try that.
So import
comma
setup Neodi.
We still need get driver. Just add it with it. Comma.
Setup Neodi, and then here
on line number, I don't know, either there. You don't need to do that actually. You can just say setup Neodi. Just call this method.
Setup Neodi and pass it new book What config? The Neo4j.
Yeah.
Neo4j.
And then you can see how it's working on line number 12, on line number 6 and 7. So you basically just copy these 3 lines. Okay, maybe you add one variable on line number 3 and call it config. It's config, and then
It needs to have the same.
yeah, it needs a capital letters, right?
Maybe Neo. But here it's not. Oh,
Okay, we cannot use a variable. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, just revert the changes. Keep it simply stupid for now.
for to change where here.
And the Cypress thing.
Where?
We cannot reuse this config variable, unfortunately. Line number 4 to 7 have to stay as they are, because this one expecting lowercase keys, and on line number 10 we are using capital letters.
And here we can't change these to lowercase?
Actually, yes, of course. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yes, let's go for it.
URI, username, and password.
And then you have to change it on the computer.
Yeah. Could change them together, but
That's a little bit dirty because on line number 26 we're using capital letters.
yeah.
It's all right. It's all right.
And then here we're passing in the Neo4j driver, right?
No, not the driver, but the everything which is in curly braces between line of 4 and 8.
Okay, so this thing
Yeah,
here.
this is why I would like to make a variable out of it. So then you can now cut that, const config, and then equals, and then this, and then you just remove that with config, and then you add config along the way. So this is like eagerly setting the node Neodi instance. But it's not all, right? Yeah, we added a bug. It's not going to work because it doesn't have all the models. If you have a look into the Neo4j.js, the if statements on line 24.5 is checking if Neodi instance is already there and if it's all set.
If it's not there, then it sets it, and if it is there, then it comes to our Neo.
You want to add all of that, so you create another function and call it add models. And then as input you give it the Neodi instance. Yeah. Then you basically copy line number 31 until the end.
31 until the end here?
No, until the very end.
And return the instance?
Yeah. Although you will have one curly brace too much. So you remove curly brace in line number 106. Yeah. And then
is there a way we can extract this into a function that returns this so we can dry it out?
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
Well, right now it's like duplicated, you know?
Yeah.
Probably you're going to erase this and call the function.
Stop. You removed one curly brace too much. Now one curly brace. Okay. Yeah, you can leave it like it is. Just add one curly brace. If you now hit backspace.
Hit backspace?
Yeah, or delete.
Yeah.
Then add one closing curly brace and then return the audience. But below the curly brace because we're doing lazy initialization here.
But we're returning it here, though.
Yeah, but that's from another function. We return it also here.
But we need to call the function here, no? Add models.
Yeah, hang on. And on line number 112, exactly. Then we say Neode instance equals add models, and then we pass another Neode instance. That should do the trick.
Okay. Yep.
And of course, we have to add the models, and if we load the Neode instance from Cypress.
I think I might have got this. I think I maybe got this path wrong when I. Let's see. There's
Just
that one. Huh?
Git diff will tell you.
Yeah.
Dot and then dot.
Dot,
So
dot,
only
then
dot.
Yeah.
You don't need the extra dot.
Yeah.
You don't need the extra dot. You can remove dot slash. That's the current
Yeah.
folder.
Just,
That's
yeah.
it. Model up, and then this is it. So, and do we have add models? Yeah, it's undefined. Can you scroll up in the file? Do we add the models in the setup maybe thing? No, we don't. So here we have to add Neode instance equals add models Neode instance.
Node instance equals add
So
model. Yeah, for node instance.
and you don't have to export add models. That's like a private method.
Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, but I still need function. And can you make this into an arrow function, or no need?
Whatever you like. You can turn this into an arrow function if you want. Then you have to say const and models, and
Yeah.
then put an equal sign between add models and
Equals add models.
wrong.
Oh, yes.
And just for making it a little bit more pretty, I would probably reverse the position of this function and the add models. So I would just set up Neode a bit low.
Whoa.
What's you do?
I can't see what's happening.
Hello, are you still there? I think you broke up that.
Yeah, I don't know how that opened up, but I think that's okay.
Okay, let's try it another one. So actually, this error message tells us that all your ads the string was undefined. Okay, and can we? Can you open the code again, please?
Yeah. Or the new project.
So we're adding URI and Cypress username, password, and how do we make use of them in the if.js? Yeah, that file.
URI
Where's setup Neode instance?
here at bottom.
Yeah, then I would log it out. Config, just config maybe. Or
Yeah.
this will be undefined for sure. We have some problems with config.
I don't know why. It should be in.
It looks okay to me.
Yeah. Not really letting it. Yeah, it's not even getting to that. It's staring before it gets to it. Both URL expected to be string, but it's undefined. So it's coming from here, maybe?
saugiausias parašyti, nėra galimybės, pavyzdžiui, kažkas reikalas, studijuos jaunimus mokino, sako, 20 metų dirba, sako, nėra kalba, kad neišsiskleidęs iš reikėjo atsarginio, sako, kad mano praktika nėra gyvenime. Sako, tai daugiausiai
I know. Oh, we have to do something really ugly now. Can you go back to the samples?
Oh, yeah. Here.
And now move line number 11 and line number 4 and everything. Okay, move that to the top of the file. Then move line number 10 to the top of the file. No, it was not line number 11. So that one has to go after setup AOD, and line number 11 has to go to the top.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you import factory from backend source seed factories, it's if you check that file, then you see that it's calling Meodi. You want to check that file?
Right. Yes. Seed factories. No, not that one. Seed factory index.js.
Yeah, this one is calling user and users factory. Line number 4. Create user. It's also like a beautifully implemented method. So it's calling on number 7. It's calling instance node. So once you import it, you're already calling that method.
Right.
I don't know if that's what we are doing right now, if that even works. Let's see.
It looks like
ugly.
the same.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it's not even working. That's okay. It's okay for now. Just leave it. We're done. We found the problem.
Yeah.
We fixed it. We face another problem, but I would say we had some success. We had some progress.
Yeah, we made a step forward for sure. And yeah, it's not console logging that, which means it's airing out before it gets to setup Neode. Right?
Yeah. Did you save the file and try to run Cypress again? And I think you have to restart Cypress because maybe the import.
Yeah, because it's config, right?
The import is like. This is so ugly. Just setting some state before you import something is like the worst thing you could do.
Well, my build passed in lighter news.
Nice.
And while that's restarting, maybe I can quickly say what I wanted to say. I don't know if you remember, I was saying that it's failed to build, but I think that's so we're having an issue where if we upgraded GraphQL Shield from 5.62 to anything newer, then it was breaking the implementation for the create post with when you add a teaser image. And so my PR that was merged in yesterday actually downgraded GraphQL Shield. But then today I was having a look at it, and actually what I ended up doing to get it passing is adding a caching. If you don't add caching to as authenticated, then it just the newer versions of GraphQL Shield, it breaks the functionality, you know. So I wanted to get your feedback on this.
Yeah, but what is the meaning of the contextual cache?
So it's when you're only using context. So in the case of is authenticated, we're only using context for the context.user. We're not using parent or args or info. So you can add this to no cache, or you can add it like I added it as specific as possible for the use case, which I read up this morning. It's like if you're using just context, then you can use contextual.
Okay, cool. Nice.
So
yes, sure.
I mean, it's failing the build at the moment. So maybe it's not, you know, maybe it's because of the NPM issue, or maybe it's because it's not there's some issue. Yeah, I mean, it's passing the branch, so I think it should pass the pull request. And I don't know, since this is like a bump GraphQL shield, I was thinking of just merging it in, but since we're talking, I thought might as well.
Yeah, just make the pull request build, fix it, and then you can also merge it. It looks nice.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, I think this is it for now. And
yeah, I mean, it's
was
still
a great parent session, although slow progress, but I mean, we managed to get one PR ready.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we haven't figured out what's going on with your date FNS on your computer, but I can try to have a search and see if I can do it, because
I'll try to figure that out myself, I think.
yeah,
and
I
then
mean,
I can also make like refactor the factories maybe, and then somehow pass in the NeoD instance from the Cypress tests.
yeah,
So I think the only file that I really have to refactor is the user factories, which is calling the NeoD function. And I think for the Cypress test, we can create a factory object and give it a NeoD instance maybe.
mm-hmm.
Then when it's trying to call the user factors, it can pass in the NeoD instance somehow. Let's see. I get it to work.
Do you want me to push up the code at all, or
All right.
are better to start from fresh?
I don't think I need that one.
Yeah.
The good thing about your work is that you can confirm it. It's just an issue with, you could confirm that the encrypt password method should be in its own file. So to avoid the unnecessary imports, which are causing problems, because I think Apollo server is a big, huge thing, which is expecting not to be run in the browser. It's causing problems. So encrypt password has only one dependency, and that is the hash sync. And the hash sync works in the browser. So this was a great finding, and also I learned something. How we should structure those. There's helper methods. So that's good. And I'm trying to fix the date FNS issue, and then I'm able to also get the new factory style in there and maybe merged. And you can give me the review on the code, how it looks right now, because it will not be a big change anymore. I think I want to leave it like that. I will probably squash all the commits because they got really dirty, and but you can have a look into it. Oh yeah, one more thing. I want to show you something. Can you open the pull request and check out the changes and go to the user resolver, because I want to show you how you can implement related resolvers really easily.
There we go.
Exactly. So what I did there, maybe you just scroll down, start at the bottom of the file first. So this is how I do it. So we have for user, and I named it like has one or has many, depending on if it's expecting an iterable. How do you pronounce it?
Sorry, if it's iterable?
Iterable. If it's expecting an iterable or not, if it's expecting an object. Okay? And you can see like it's a method call which expects one object, and this object has keys and some piece of cipher. And it's not super pretty, but I would say it looks okay. The contract here is you always have to call the related object related. Can you see it? Like if you don't call it related, then you have a problem. Because if you look into the definition of has one or has many,
where are you using it? Sorry.
The definition is somewhere up
here.
So this is underscore has, which is like
one,
and then you have has one and has many. The only difference is it's calling underscore has, but with return type object or return type iterable. And has one, you can see what's going on there. It's basically just building up a statement, match user, then a U, which is not even necessary, I think, to give it a name, because we're not interested in the name of the user object. But yeah, so matching user with the ID, and we are also expecting the ID to be in the parent object. Okay, so parent must have the ID. It's expecting something that's already resolved. and then it's matching that user, adds the connection, and then return related. That's why it needs to be called related. And this is more or less it. Sometimes it's returning first object, sometimes just returning the entire array, depending on if it's expecting an iterable or an object. And the interesting part here is line number 10. Because that means if we are here in a query and we're using the generated resolver, then parent key is not undefined anymore. It is, if it's empty, it's null or an empty array, but it's certainly not undefined. Undefined means the parent object has resolved, and the parent object did not set up the relationships.
Yeah.
So it could either be that you call the query, which we implemented ourselves, and we forgot maybe to, or also deliberately forgot to add the relationships, because those relationships are taken care of in these resolvers here. Or we have a mutation which we also implemented ourselves, and then also the relationship is undefined. Okay.
Why is this undefined as a string?
That's just how you do it. Like if you say type of,
okay, yeah,
is how you can check for undefined.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if that's the case, you just return parent key because it's already set. If it's null, then it just resolves to something which is not there. So like, I don't know, a user which is not disabled by anything, right? Disabled by is null, then you just return null and you're happy. And that also avoids having an extra database call, right? So for every resolver, for every top-level resolver, which does not take care of the related things, like the attributes which are somehow related, then we can add them retrospectively, right, in another database call. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So adding that to your comments mutations, post mutations, should also set up the authorship relationship and so on and so on. It will include many database calls though, like you would have create post, and then this results, it gives the ID back, and then you hit the author resolver and take the ID from the post and search for the authorship relationship.
I mean, in the case of like comments where you always want to an author, doesn't it make sense to just remove Neo4j GraphQL and just do a Cypher statement that creates the comment and adds the author in just one Cypher statement? And then it would return.
You can do that. But if you, for example, take the currently authenticated user as the author, that is the encrypted. If you check out how context user is actually implemented, this is the decrypted JSON Web Token.
Yeah.
So it has all the data that the JSON Web Token has, including email.
Yeah.
Password. No, not password. Just to have a look what's in there, but it's not having all the attributes of the user.
Yeah, I saw it was. I don't know.
If you would add the currently authenticated user as the author, this would mean if you create a post, ask for the author, and ask for the author about attribute, like this text that you can write about yourself. Then you get one for that. So that would be incorrect.
Okay.
I mean, the idea is good, but and you can do that, of course. You can save yourself a database call if you, for some reason, get the related objects, but just don't use context user, because context user does not guarantee to have all the attributes that you might want to access.
Right.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we exchanged a lot of knowledge in this pairing session, right? It's not a pairing session where we submitted a lot of code, but we certainly exchanged a lot of knowledge.
Yep. And I think So I'm tempted to merge in the. I mean, I think I've got 2 approvals on the post with categories. Like you approved it, and what's that?
Just merge it. You have my approval. Just merge it.
Oh, awesome, great. So that will help with the burn down chart. And yeah, if I can help in any way on the on your PR, let me know.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this data FNS fuck up fixed and then refactor the whole thing.
Yeah, I think maybe I feel like I haven't given enough attention to Alex's PRs. Like I had a look at this the other day, this mobile responsive menu nav bar, and there are some things I didn't love about it. Like, but at the same time, it's an improvement on what we already have. Like
Yeah,
I didn't like the.
Alex would be super happy if you could get a get a review. And I think he also added, or he gave me a list of. Did he? I don't know. Just check out the requests. He wants some reviews on it. Like
yeah, I approved this mobile responsiveness, and like I was in a pairing session with Ollie as well, and I said, you know, there are some things that maybe I would have done a little bit differently, but it's an improvement, and we can add improvements to it later as well. And so I think I'll merge it in, and there's like, you know, this region and place is no longer created twice, which is just adding 3 lines of code, and it maybe doesn't completely solve our issue, but solves it partially, and it's been approved by T-Rock, so maybe merge that in as well. Like, just, you know, this one here, like I guess you had requested for changes on this, like to make it into its own components, but then I understand that you had a conversation with him afterwards, and oh, you can't see what I'm looking at.
No, I see yourself, which is nice, but
yeah. Yeah. So I understand you had a conversation.
I love the Garfield on the wall, by the way.
Yes, it's beautiful. The change in scenery. I'm enjoying your change of scenery as well. It's a bit louder, and you have to talk quieter. But I'm very happy that you're out and about traveling. So I understood that you requested changes on this, like to extract it into its own component. But then you talked to Alex about this, and he said maybe he'll do that in refactoring later. Or did that conversation not happen?
No, I don't think so. Like
So
you can have this behavior, like you have a piece of HTML which is long, which is a long text, and you want to fold or unfold it. I think that's really like something that we want to put in its extra component. No, because we can have lengthy posts, we can have lengthy comments, we can have lengthy everything. So
yeah. Okay, so maybe don't merge this, because
I mean, if you want, you can merge it right away, but it's just a piece of logic, or maybe just don't put it in an extra component, but then add some component tests for the comment, which gets unfolded and unfolded.
Yeah. Okay.
I just want to see some tests.
Yeah, we should be adding tests.
I think Alex has still difficulties to write specs, both for backend and frontend.
Yeah, I can pair with him on that.
That would be great. Yeah, I think we should get more conversation. I think I myself, I was in the tunnel and I was not looking sideways. Like I was neglecting my review of pair programming duties.
Yeah.
We should get, again, more communication in the team. And also, we didn't do our requirements duty, so that's why the ZenUp doesn't show any progress. So I failed on adding this issue on this library, like Neo4j GraphQL, telling them about our issues with limitations and the filters and security issues that it involves. I still have to do it, but since I was so looking forward to get this PR finally forward, I was like neglecting that, and thought, okay, let's do it or something.
Yeah, I completely understand. I mean, I'm kind of in a place that I'm finished working on a feature, and kind of like trying to make sure that in between we're starting something new, that I'm giving some time to review other people's PRs and
Yeah, that and I think you
I-
you understand the anti-application now, right?
Yeah.
There's actually one thing that's still missing. You don't have a user account on the alpha, so you cannot test both
I do.
data import pull requests.
I have a user account.
Can you download the data from the alpha? Did you try this ever before?
No, I've never tried that. No.
Okay. Okay, it will take for a long time. But if you can SSH into the alpha, this is actually everything you need in order to get the data and also to test the data import, which has to be tested manually. Like whenever I review Wolf's pull requests regarding data import, then I either have to just trust him or test it manually, check out the code, do it the same. So the data imports is also something that you cannot write software tests for. Maybe that's also the reason why Wolf is really keen to work on those features. But yeah, I'm the only one who can currently give him a proper review. So what you would have to do as a summary is you check out the Docker configuration, the Docker Compose configuration for the migration worker.
Yeah.
And you have to give all the migration worker all the environment variables.
Mm-hmm.
So MongoDB password, SSH host, SSH user, SSH everything, and then also have to give you have to place your SSH keys in a particular folder.
Yeah.
Which is also somewhere in it's a folder where the maintenance worker lives. It has a ignored folder which is called SSH, like it's an empty folder, and you place the SSH.
Yeah.
Once you have everything configured, then you basically just have to say docker compose f -f docker compose YAML, and then -f docker compose maintenance.yaml. And then up. Then you can, I don't know, the way I do it is I open another terminal, SSH into the new container, which has all the configurations and everything, and then you say import legacy DB. It's like a command line helper, and it's expecting all the environments to be set. And if you have it, and if they're all correct, then it's also able to create an SSH tunnel to the remote server. Once you've got that, you can download all the data, and then this is everything you need to test the data. If you want to, if you feel brave, then you can try it out. And if you run into errors, just tell me.
Yeah, okay. All right. I mean, I've definitely set myself up with SSH permissions before and set up other people with it. And so I think I should be able to do it, although there's like a level of complexity with this that doesn't exist with the others, but I can have a look for sure. And I need to do the, I think after lunch, maybe I'll come back and restore the staging.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Our Daniel has asked for it.
Oh right. Okay. So I need to send my invoice again. I sent my invoice and they asked for changes, and then I tried to make the changes in the app that I use, and it was like coming out. It was throwing errors, so I had to like report the errors, and I need to get that in, because if I don't, if I just let it pass, then it's gonna end up like I'm not going to get paid.
Oh, no.
So I need to take it seriously. I should have done it last week, really.
You don't have a deadline, do you?
No, I mean the deadline is that I don't think I have a deadline, but I'd like to receive it before I get to Germany, because they might ask to see how much money I have, and then obviously the last month worth of euros would help.
Yeah, I would be interested in what they ask if you ask you something like. As a EU citizen, I don't get confronted with the problems that you have to get a visa or to get anything to enter the EU. So
yeah,
I'm really interested into that.
The thing I'm most concerned about, not concerned, but is the fact that we booked a ticket for 90 days later. But then if it were like a 10-day trip, then they wouldn't be too worried about, proving that we have enough money and all this kind of stuff, because they're like, oh, they're going to pass 10 days. And, we have friends who've gone there and they didn't really ask them any questions. But then if you're saying like, I'm going to spend 90 days in the country, then they might be like, all right, well, are you sure you have enough money? Let's see how much money you have to make sure that you have enough money. And then that's like, I know that I'm going to be receiving money when I'm there, but I can't really.
Yeah, if you run into any problems, I think it's also fair just to give you like a private loan. I would be up for that. If you run into any problems like that, just ask me. It's all right. I did that before.
Yeah.
And it's going to be all right.
I mean, I think we have savings, and we have like, we've looked at how much they expect per person, and I think we'll be fine. But it's just that, it's obviously the last month of working is, a few thousand euros a couple thousand that, anyway, some money that would help for us to be able to like have a little bit of assurance that, but I don't think there'll be any problem with that. I mean, I leave on July 17th. I get there on July.
By the way, because now we're talking about
personal stuff.
About the technology. Okay, everyone, all the non-existing audience. Bye.